Everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Susan Dawn Ascension Connections, and welcome back to another sacred channeling. I wanted to do this follow-up video in connection to the Inside the Void reading. That was a very powerful channeling that we've received, both written and then we did a channeling on it. But I want to do a follow-up and get some more information. Right now, as we're channeling, get some more information. We now have the 9-9 portal. We're in the 9-9 portal. It is a powerful activation gateway. The energy that I've been receiving over the past couple of days is one of beginnings and endings, or I should say endings and beginnings. But rather than endings, transition period, and beginnings, it feels like it's all jumbled up. It feels like it's all at once. Endings and beginnings happening congruently, happening at the very same time, simultaneously. And it can lead to a little bit of uncomfortable energy. I'm hearing Spirit say, that's an understatement. It's a really big, it can feel like a shakeup, because we don't have that real transition period that we usually do. This is going to look different for everybody, but this is really all about the internal transformation, endings and beginnings happening at the same time. So I wanted to pull some cards and get some information. And what was interesting is I started to pull some cards just to kind of get the feel of this reading, because I'm going into this blindly. I don't know what's to come. I received some information in the Inside the Void channeling, so I'll put that in the description box below. Make sure that you're checking that out. What we talked about is you might be experiencing a little bit of a void, a little bit of a desert energy, a little bit of a pause or stagnation, but it's because there is so much that is happening energetically, so much is happening on the astral realms. And I actually was able to bring my consciousness to the astral realms. Usually when I'm channeling, I don't see, I am getting, visions and metaphors and symbols and things like that to help me relay the information that I'm receiving, but I'm bringing that information down. When I channel, I'm intuitively channeling, so I'm still kind of conscious. What I experienced was I was actually seeing the astral plane. My consciousness was actually on the astral plane, and I could see these pillars of light. Some were together, indicating to me twin flames, sacred partners, whatever label you want to use. It was the sacred partner energy. And some were individual. They were all light workers. It was pillars of light doing a lot of energetic work there on the astral realm. And so what was occurring was, in the physical plane, you might have been experiencing a little bit of a lag. You might have been experiencing a little bit of exhaustion, kind of a call to solitude, a call to go within, a call to spend some time with yourself, just alone, taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself. This hermit energy is what was coming through. Especially at the end of August into September. Now, with the Lionsgate energy from July through August, it was massive light codes coming in, massive downloads, massive shifts in energy. And so our physical bodies have needed some time to catch up. So that's also why we've been experiencing some kind of, downtime. We might be experiencing some ascension symptoms, some fatigue, some just tiredness, some being called to rest. A lot of readers, myself included, were called to take a hiatus. Our channeling was a little bit shut down. It's because there was so much that was happening in the energetic realms, that we were getting upgrades at the same time, but our bodies needed some time to adjust. Our physical bodies needed some time to adjust, and so we were called to take a pause, but we were still receiving downloads. Even though we weren't channeling for the collective, I'm going to speak for myself, even though I wasn't channeling for the collective, I was still receiving insight and downloads, and I could tell that there was so much happening energetically. And what was happening energetically was alignment. So in the Inside the Void reading, we pulled cards and it was confirmation. Oh no, this was in the Sacred Union energy update. No, it was both. There's a Sacred Union energy update that also confirmed this, but it was the Inside the Void reading that I think it was there that I pulled the Desert and the Gaia. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember when I'm channeling. I'm already up there. But we pulled, it was the Desert energy and the Gaia energy, and the Gaia energy was reminiscent of the abundance And that's what we're aligning to. We're aligning to abundance. And this is not just financial. This is not just material, not just in the physical, but it is the energy of abundance. It is the energy of releasing lack consciousness, scarcity mindset, and separation consciousness. Because when you're in lack, you're in separation. When you're in victim mode, you're in separation. When you are in scarcity, you're in separation. Abundance encompasses the all. So abundance is not just, remember, even financials, even money is an energy. So if you are pushing away money, or if you are in lack consciousness with regards to money or finances, then there is this lack energy, and that's separation consciousness. Now, willingly or unwillingly, that is what's occurring for many of us. And it's playing out in different aspects. It could be relationships, it could be family, it could be money, it could be home life. It's playing out in various different arenas for many of us because we are aligning to the old. We're purging out the lack. So we might be playing out, we might be tested. There's a lot of initiations that are happening right now because we are ascending into higher consciousness where it is abundance. Let me put it in a different way. Let me kind of retranslate this. So we are currently, many of us are experiencing stagnation or some kind of, I don't want to use the word upheaval. It might feel like an upheaval, but it's uncomfortableness, discomfort. Uncomfortableness is not a word. Okay, discomfort. We're experiencing some kind of discomfort in our physical experience. We might be called to pull back from work. We might be called to re-examine or reflect on our relationships or our family dynamics or friendships. We might be... it could be playing out in a number of different ways. Those are just some examples. But what is actually happening energetically is alignment. Aligning to abundance energy, aligning to unity consciousness, that higher consciousness of oneness. And oneness is not just oneness with all as far as people, as far as souls, but it's oneness as far as all consciousness. And consciousness includes energy of finances and love and relationships. Those are consciousnesses in and of themselves. So unity consciousness is embodying all of this. And so what's actually happening is while you're experiencing this stagnation, and you might be experiencing a little bit of frustration with this, but you're called to surrender. Allow yourself to surrender. Allow yourself to say, okay, I might be experiencing this as some kind of test, as some kind of initiation. I might be experiencing this for the experience, for the lesson. What am I learning from it? What is this teaching me? How can I surrender even more to the knowing that I am part of the universe, that I'm always going to be protected, I'm always going to be supported in the way of my highest good. Aligning to my highest self, following my intuition, following my soul self, following God's source energy. Always that energy of it's all going to be okay. Trusting in yourself, trusting in the path that you're walking as you're aligned to your highest self, as you're aligned to your soul self, as you're aligned to God's source energy or the universe. Following that path, trusting in that path, knowing that no matter what it is that you're experiencing, there is something else that is being aligned. And that alignment is the energy of abundance. And that is coming into the physical plane. That is the timeline shift that we are currently aligning to. So it might kind of feel like we're slogging through a desert right now. We are in a little bit of a void. I do feel like the energy has been lighter, especially the past few days with the new moon. There was a lighter energy that was coming in, especially with this 9/9 portal. It really feels like anchoring in that abundance energy in the energetic realms. There was a lot of work, a lot of moving pieces that were happening, but really aligning to that abundance energy, that oneness energy, that unity consciousness in the higher realms, anchoring that in energetically. We're going to start seeing that over the next several weeks, over the next several months, coming into our physical plane in a number of different ways. So allow yourself to be open to opportunity. Allow yourself to be open to the universe showing this to you, and allow yourself to be open to the shift within yourself. It's really important right now that we allow ourselves, our minds, our hearts to be open, to continue to be open to changes, to possibilities, to different perceptions. So what's been happening through this desert period, through this void period, if you've been experiencing a little bit of struggle, is we are really clearing out that old consciousness, clearing out as a collective and purging lack, scarcity, victimhood, the energy of struggle. That is all being cleared out so that abundance energy that's anchored into the energetic realm can be brought down into the physical plane so that we can begin experiencing that in our physical experiences, because it doesn't happen without a shift within our own consciousness. So you have to clear out that, what I like to call soul sludge, that's holding you down in order to transcend. So as I was pulling some cards just to kind of get a feel for this reading, the first card to come out was Ascension. And I just laughed because, okay. And then the second card that came out was the Matrix. So this is what is happening. We are ascending out of the Matrix. We are ascending out of duality consciousness. We are ascending out of the lack programming. We are ascending out of victim conditioning. We are ascending out of any consciousness that just pulls our energy down and holds our energy down. And so you might be going through some experiences that are purging that energy out of you, but you have to be able to open up your heart and allow it. Don't resist it. Don't resist the changes. Don't resist the changes in mindset. Don't resist the changes in patternings. Allow yourself to be really conscious and really aware of what might be occurring. Many of you are experiencing a huge shift in your energy where you are fully standing in your power. I was just talking to dear friend and soul sister this morning about how different I feel right now and how different I am from just a few months ago. It feels like more strength. It feels like more self-empowerment. It feels like more of a confidence and a surety within myself, a sureness within myself, a knowing of myself and who I am and what I stand for, what I will stand for, what I will not stand for, what I will tolerate, what I will not tolerate, all in the highest energy of love. And it might not look, this is coming for me, a big lesson for me and a lot of divine feminines I've realized is all about healthy boundaries. And it might not look pleasing to others who have been stepping over those boundaries or not accepting of those boundaries or not accepting of you. But the more you uphold your boundaries and say, this is my value, I know my value now, I know what I'm worth, I know that this is not aligned to my highest good, this is not aligned to my heart, the more you are standing in that energy, the more you are actually aligning to highest consciousness, because that is all about healthy consciousness, healthy behaviors, healthy understandings, healthy connections. So there's a lot that is being transformed within, but you have to allow that. Don't hold on to beliefs. Don't hold on to mindsets. Don't hold on to patterns just because that's who you were. Your transformation, ascension, is a constant state of transformation. Ascension is a constant state of allowing yourself to grow and change. In the past, I would never have been able to uphold those healthy boundaries and say, this is what I deserve, this is what I need, this is what I want. I never would have valued myself enough. I thought I valued myself, but in essence, I was still giving so much of myself away. And for me to be able to pull back that energy, that feels a little bit selfish to me, but it's only because I have been so overgiving and over-sacrificing in the past. And a lot of feminine energies, whether you consider yourself a masculine or a feminine, it's the feminine energy within. A lot of that feminine energy within was too overgiving. Overextending. So there is a huge push for transformation right now, and there is a huge shift in what you can feel within your own energy. And with that, you are recognizing the higher consciousness, and you are expanding into that higher consciousness because you're expanding within yourself into love for yourself. And as you expand into more love and value for yourself, really taking care of yourself, not neglecting others. We don't neglect others when we're taking care of ourselves, but we don't overgive to others. We don't people please. We don't give because, oh, this is how they're going to love me, or they're going to be angry if I don't do this, or they're going to be upset or sad if I don't do this. If it is not aligned to your own morals and your own values, we don't sacrifice anymore. That is an old energy, an old paradigm. That is an old pattern that does not need to be replayed anymore, because the more you are aligned to yourself and your value, the more that is going to have a ripple effect on others. And they're going to start having that same self-respect, that same value, that same confidence within themselves. The more they're learning their lessons in that realm, in that area, the more they're going to say, oh, I don't need to sacrifice myself for other people as well. And you're just going to naturally align together. That's co-creatorship. It's natural alignment. Co-creatorship is natural alignment, not forcing anything, not trying to control anything. And sacrifice is actually an avenue of control. Because you think, oh, if I sacrifice myself here, or if I sacrifice this, then this is what's going to happen. That's a condition. That's control. The more you just allow yourself to be yourself, your true authentic self, the more you are aligned to what is meant for you, not forcing anything, but allowing that co-creatorship with all to come in. It's almost like it goes against any of our logical thinking, because we've never experienced true unity consciousness in the physical plane before. We haven't understood true unity consciousness and what that means to be a true co-creator before. It's always been about sacrifice. It's always been about control. It's always been about manipulation. It's always been about the other. And the more we understand it's about the self and allowing ourselves to walk our sacred path, to continue to transform, to continue to grow in our highest light, even if it feels a little bit selfish, even if you feel a little bit guilty, that's because you're not used to it. It's because there have been so many who have taken, or we have been conditioned to give. That's part of the matrix programming. And the more you put up those boundaries, the more you have that structure within yourself, that is the divine masculine energy within you, structure, allowing for boundaries, recognizing your value, the more you do that, the more you're aligned to unity consciousness, and you're able to be that open, expanded heart of the higher self. So we're not saying don't take care of others. We're not saying negate others, negate the world, negate your loved ones. We're not saying that at all. That's not what this is about. True unity consciousness is recognizing that to take care of others does not mean to neglect the self, or to devalue the self, or to sacrifice the self. And the more of us who are aligned to the sacred self within, which is recognizing our value, upholding healthy boundaries, only going towards or giving our energy to that which is aligned to higher consciousness and our higher self and love as a whole, even if other people might not perceive it as such because they're so conditioned in another way to look at it from a different perspective, the more we're just aligned to ourselves, the more other people are going to start rippling that out and showing that. It has a ripple effect. That's what I'm trying to say. It has a ripple effect. And the more other people are going to be experiencing that transformation too, and the more we're all transformed to that, the more we are able to just keep our open hearts and expanded energy and higher consciousness and co-create from that level, rather than from sacrifice and taking and devaluing. We're coming from the place of no competition, of no sacrifice, of working together, really working together in the highest light. So I hope that I translated that okay. There is a massive, massive shift that is coming. And so the more you are empowered within yourself, the more that has a ripple effect on the collective, and the more that brings in that unity consciousness, the more you are letting go and ascending out of that matrix energy, that low vibrational energy of the way we were doing things as a society. Again, we're taking care of each other in a different way now. Taking care of each other, not let me sacrifice myself and my soul, but let me, in my energy of recognizing my worth and recognizing my value, be able to give to you what I can without sacrificing myself. Because that encourages the other, the world, to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. It's about releasing codependency. It's about not enabling, so that everybody can recognize their own self-empowerment. Everybody can recognize their own sovereignty. And the more, liberation, they just had me go to the bottom of the deck. The more everybody recognizes their own sovereignty, the more everybody recognizes their own self-empowerment, that they don't have to take from others, that they don't have to claim from others, they don't have to pull the energy from others, that they don't need others to sacrifice for them, the more they recognize this, the more the whole world is ascending and being free from this matrix energy, this lower vibrational energy, and the more we're able to take care of each other in the highest regard. This is not about sacrificing your wants and your needs. This is not about saying, this is not about the extreme other way of independence. I don't need anybody to take care of me. I don't need anybody to provide for me. I don't need anything from anybody. This is about recognizing, okay, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is what could be helpful to me at this time. And saying, are you able to support me in this way? And it's about, how do I say this? It's about shifting. It's about shifting to seeing where people have been taking, where you have been overgiving, and asserting those healthy boundaries. Okay, I can't give my all to this. Can you help support me now? Can you help me in this way? And it's about the other person to say, yes, I can, to show up, yes, I can, or no, they can't. And if they can't, then that energy is not aligned to you. But the more people who are self-empowered, who are in their strength, who are in their sovereignty, who are in their awareness, and who are in their own value, the more they're able to step up and say, I can help the world without sacrificing myself. I can recognize my value, and this is how I can help the world. This is how I can be of purpose. This is how I can be of mission. And they just said, this is what it's all about. It's about people stepping into their purpose, people stepping into their mission. That is what we're ascending into. Not just talking about career, but we're talking about higher self, talking about higher consciousness, talking about the higher sense of why we are here, to help each other and help the world, but not from the energy of lack. When you're sacrificing yourself and giving your all and depleting your energy, that is the energy of lack. And the more you have healthy boundaries, the more you're in your place of recognizing your value, recognizing your worth, standing up for yourself and what you deserve, what you want in a healthy way, the more you are able to align to the higher consciousness of, okay, it's the flow of give and receive. It's the union energy of abundance, the union energy of give and receive. Because the more you're able to offer, the more you're able to receive. But you're not blocking that receiving, and you're not overgiving. You're in that beautiful flow. And that is the higher consciousness. That is the abundance energy that is coming in. And that is how we are ascending out of the patterning and the control and the manipulation and the sacrifice and the low self-esteem, the low confidence, the devaluation of ourselves. Because we are recognizing our strength and we are recognizing our light. We are freeing ourselves from that which was tying us down and trapping us, because what was trapping us was that which was not in alignment. It was just depleting our energy. It was just not aligned to us. Okay, wow, that was, okay. I think I got that all out. All right, Spirit, what is this timeline shift? That's what that timeline shift is all about. It is about, there is a huge transformation that is happening internally, and you can start to experience this. You can start to reflect on this and recognize that you have been experiencing this over the past several months. I feel like this started to come in during the spring months, and then it really ramped up with the Lionsgate energy. The end of July, July 26th specifically, they just gave me that date, to the Lionsgate portal and beyond into this month of September. That energy has really been ramping up, that internal transformation. Do not resist it. Allow yourself to purge whatever needs to be purged. Allow yourself to become aligned to that higher consciousness, that higher energy, by releasing the old. And again, releasing the old means addictions. It means habits. It means behaviors. It means mindsets. It means patterns. It means anything that is no longer serving the higher self that wants to come in, the higher consciousness that wants to be anchored in to the physical experience, to your human embodiment. You are aligning to higher consciousness. You are now embodying that in your physical being, in everyday experience as a human incarnate. And so the more you release the old version of yourself and don't resist those changes, the more you're going to be able to see, recognize, and experience this shift and how it changes everything. That shift changes everything because you are ascending out of that control construct. Okay. Yeah, acceptance at the bottom of the deck. The more you accept and don't resist, the more you can experience that shift without struggles, without tower moments, without great difficulty, and the more you can feel that really anchor in to the new and higher version of yourself, the higher version of who you are. It feels stronger, it feels safer, it feels more secure, it feels more confident, it feels more empowered, it feels more connected to yourself. You feel so, I'm getting so much solar plexus energy right now. So there's a lot of solar plexus energy that is occurring right now. Make sure that you're checking out the light language transmissions. We're almost at the end of that series. So do make sure that you check out especially the solar plexus transmission. That might help you with this energy if you're experiencing some difficulty anchoring this in. But it is connecting you deeper to yourself. And the more you connect more deeply to yourself, the more you're able to recognize, honor, and welcome in that higher consciousness, because it's that shift. You're going through a massive transformation right now, and this is happening all around the world. People might not be consciously aware of it. They might not call it ascension. They might not call it the matrix. They might not call it this or that. But this is happening on a very deep level. When I scroll through my feed, I see friends who were very much a part of the church, kind of renouncing religion, but opening up to even more to their connection to God's source. Even opening up even more to recognizing their soul self and their connection to God's source, whatever they want to call it. I had, like I said in Inside the Void, I had a friend who just reached out to me because they were interested. They just bought their first tarot deck as a self-development tool. That's exactly what it's all about. All of this spirituality is about understanding the self so that we understand our connection to source energy and all. That's exactly what it is all about. It is about the embodiment of our highest self, the embodiment of love. How can we be the best and highest versions of ourselves? And everybody has their own path to walk to explore those tools, to explore more about themselves. And there are various tools. A dear friend of mine used the Enneagram and Myers-Briggs to understand herself, and I've used that as well to understand my patterns within the realm of my experience here as Susan. I've used that to understand, okay, this is why I do this. This is how I can heal this. This is how I can change this pattern so that I can shift even higher in consciousness and understanding and awareness. There are others who use tarot. There are others who use self-help books. There are others who take courses. There are others who just, allow themselves to be part of the world, and that's their experience, and that's how they grow and how they learn. Everybody has different paths, and every tool works for everybody at different levels, at different stages. What worked for me in the past might not work for me now. What works for me now might not work for me in the past. Everybody is going through this process of ascension, and they might not be consciously using the terminology that we share, but everybody is going through this process of ascension, and it is beautiful, beautiful to see. Wow. That's because this is the resurrection of that God source energy within all. It is the resurrection of the Christos-Sophia consciousness. And the Christos-Sophia consciousness is what we do, what we talk about on this channel. It is the balancing of the masculine and feminine energies, clearing out the distortions, clearing out all that toxic energy, all the patterning, all the conditioning, all that kind of toxic, negative, soul sludgy energy that we have been accustomed to, not just within this lifetime, but in past generations as well, that has been handed down to us, past lifetimes that we may have experienced. We are clearing all that out to recognize the God source energy within us. Our connection to God source energy, because we are an aspect of God source. We are a child of God. We are a creation of God. And so we are part of God source energy itself. And the masculine and feminine energy that we are healing, those templates, that's where we label it that divine energy. You can label it whatever you want. I prefer divine masculine and divine feminine. Call it conscious masculine, conscious feminine. It is that Christos-Sophia consciousness. It is that new template, or I should say it's an old template, but that has been very, very distorted and submerged, suppressed. That is what is being resurrected at this time, to recognize the divinity within us. And when we say recognize the divinity, it is recognizing our connection and oneness with God's source. And as we recognize our connection and oneness with God's source, we recognize the connection and oneness with all, because we are all part of this creator energy. And so that is what we are really healing within ourselves through those masculine and feminine templates, because those are just templates. Those are just the energies that we hold within. And that is how it's, okay, a couple of months ago, what I had channeled, I don't remember where it was, but what I had channeled was the energy of Mother, Father, God coming in. I'd actually seen this in a vision as well, where I was speaking to Mother and Father God. They showed it to me as two beings, because that was the only way that my conscious mind could make sense of it. I think I channeled Mother, Father, God energy before, and I think this came through in a meditation, so I'm kind of jumbling it all up here. But the vision actually came through in a meditation where Mother and Father God were standing beside me as one. Their energies were merged, but it was like two pillars of light to show me the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect. And that's what we have within us as one, that merged energy. That's what we all have within us. Sacred partners, they express it differently. Sacred partners, twin flames, whatever it is, twin souls, whatever it is that you want to call it, sacred partners are in a little bit of a different energy, because they have the masculine and feminine energies within them, but you came down in two separate bodies to kind of accelerate your ascension, to experience your soul growth in two different parallel experiences as one. You're one energy, but expressed in two different bodies, in two different embodiments. So it's a little bit different, but everybody contains the masculine and feminine principles of this God source energy within them. And that's what it is. God source energy is not just a masculine principle, which I do believe that many religions, not all, but many religions have kind of repressed the feminine aspect. But if you really drill down and go back into ancient texts, you can see that the feminine principle was so honored, so cherished, and respected. But that really got lost in translation. The God principle is the masculine and feminine energy. And so that is being resurrected on this planet at this time, especially the feminine energy that had been so repressed and almost replaced by a toxic masculine energy. So what we're doing is we are clearing out the toxicity, we're clearing out the distortions of both the distorted feminine who had been repressed, who tried to show up, but maybe was showing up in a distorted energy because her divine energy was just not received, was not respected, was persecuted, prosecuted, was not honored. And so the more we are able to heal the masculine principle, which is recognizing the consciousness, recognizing, how do I say this? The divine masculine principle is somebody who takes authority, somebody who leads, somebody who is able to take decisive action, not from a place of control, not from a place of manipulation or from a place of toxicity, but who is able to do so from the heart space. And the masculine principle, the conscious masculine or the divine masculine principle, honors the sacred feminine, the feminine energy who has that internal wisdom, or intuitive wisdom, who has that insight, who has that real divine connection to the higher realms, to source. But recognize you have it all within you. And the more you're honoring the intuitive wisdom within yourself, the more your masculine energy is able to take action from that level. And that's why when you're working in partnership with another, the divine feminine really needs to trust and honor. You have to trust and honor each other. Hold on, I'm going to get a visual because they just pointed me to it. For those of you who have been on my channel for a very long time, this goes back to one of the original Divine Partnership readings. They had showed me this tarot card. It's the Lover's card in the Gilded Tarot. It is one of my absolute favorite cards because this is the epitome of conscious connection. This is the epitome of sacred partners. This is the epitome of divine masculine and divine feminine. You can take it as the divine masculine and divine feminine within yourself or in relationship. Take it as both. Understand within the self first, and then that is then reflected in your partnership. But that is this God source energy, and you see the energy that is flowing down here into the two of them. There is no separation there. Again, we are releasing ourselves from the matrix, which resides in separation consciousness. We are ascending out of that to our connection with ourselves, with God, recognizing the connection to God's source. The masculine principle holds up and supports the divine feminine. The feminine is fully connected to the higher planes. That's through her intuition. She receives the energy. The divine masculine is the one who really anchors that into the physical. That's why the divine masculine embodiment, that's why a lot of males who carry that masculine energy are really grounded in the physical plane. That's why there's been that template of needing to be leaders and providers and people who are very material oriented, is because the divine masculine energy is really grounded in the physical plane. Now, the more you come into inner union, the more you understand and heal the polarities between the inner masculine and the inner feminine, the more you come into that oneness of saying, okay, if you're a core feminine, okay, I am connected to my flow, I'm connected to my energy, I am connected to my softness, to my heart, to my intuition. But I also know when it's time, when I need to, I will stand up for myself, I will lead, I will take care of my physical reality. There is no neglect of one or the other. That's the balance. That's what it means to bring the spiritual down to the physical plane. That is the connection between the masculine and the feminine energies. It's balancing out both, and that's exactly what we're doing as we are resurrecting this God source energy, as we're bringing this new earth energy in. What we're doing when we're bringing new earth energy in is we're actually bringing back the divine masculine and the divine feminine principle in union. That is part of unity consciousness. That is part of this new earth that we are creating, this new reality that we are creating. But you have to be able to balance the energies within yourself first. We're not talking about relationships yet. That is reflected in your relationships. But balance that energy within yourself first, and that has a ripple effect on others. And those of you who are in sacred partnership, you're actually working on balancing out your masculine and feminine energies with your partner. Your partner is triggering you and showing you where your distortions are, where your old energy is, so that you can shift. You're doing this ascension process with your sacred partner. That's why I call it the sacred union path to ascension, because you're doing it with your partner. They are the embodiment of your masculine or feminine energy to show you the reflection. That's why you're kind of on at the forefront of this ascension journey. That's why you really are the way showers, because you're doing this at an accelerated rate. But everybody is going through this shift of balancing out their feminine and masculine energies, because that is the new paradigm that we are creating, that oneness. And so it's the Hierophant and the High Priestess is what they were showing me next as a metaphor. And let me get this, because I like my visuals. In tarot, the High Priestess, that's a nice one. It's interesting that I'm being called to use this deck. Okay. The High Priestess, the counterpart to the High Priestess is the High Priest or the Hierophant. The High Priestess is representative of the feminine energy, but we're talking about like the energy. You can talk about, I'm not even going to go there. So we're talking about the energy of the feminine. She is connected to the higher planes. She's connected to higher consciousness. She's connected to her intuition. She's connected to esoteric knowledge and wisdom. The counterpart, the masculine energy, is the one who is really grounded in the physical plane. Traditionally, the Hierophant is about traditions and social structures and just, it's very physical, it's very tangible, but it's the physical plane. When you bring these two together, when you bring these two energies together, this is what you get. You get the merging. Get the merging of the masculine and the feminine energy. And that's what it's all about. It is about bringing the connection to source, the connection to higher self, the connection to higher wisdom, and that inherent knowledge about the universe that we all have within ourselves. The connection to our soul self, the understanding of our soul self, bringing that down into our human experience, into the physical plane. The more we understand that, the more we can work with the polarities within ourselves, heal the polarities within ourselves, and thus we are actually shifting the paradigm on the planet, helping the planet go through this ascension process, release ourselves from the old patterning, conditioning, and beliefs that we held once of the matrix, shift into this divine energy. Okay, I'm feeling them pull back, so I feel like that's the end of this sacred channeling. I'm sure we're going to be talking more about this coming forward. When asking about this timeline shift, what is shifting, we're anchoring this in. This 9-9 portal is an activation energy, which is helping us to anchor all of this energy in. And I do feel like we're going to be talking about this more. It's actually interesting because a couple of you have emailed me recently saying that you're experiencing either trouble with finances or some lack consciousness. And I've been experiencing that myself, interestingly enough. And so what we're going to be doing next week is talking about lack consciousness as related to separation consciousness. And I'll also be bringing forth a light language transmission to help with that lack consciousness. Do make sure that you're going through the playlist of light language transmissions if those are helpful for you, because I do feel like we had a couple that might kind of talk about lack consciousness or separation consciousness, but we're going to be bringing forth even more transmissions, more light codes about that to help heal the separation energy, to help with our ascension. And we're going to be talking about what this shift is bringing in, this timeline shift, and this new earth energy. We'll be talking a lot more about new earth energy. Really what it is the new Lemuria. So check out that sacred channeling. I'll put that in the description box below. Final announcement, don't forget that if you would like a personalized reading with me or any of my products in my Etsy shop or on my website, do make sure that you check it out now, because I am running a sale for the month of September to celebrate my birthday. It is the only sale that I run because I do price all of my options and products as low as possible to help the community. So I am running one of the only sales that I will run throughout the year, so do make sure that you're taking advantage of it now. We'll be back with the end of the chakra alignment series next week. You can also purchase the full series. It's an hour long on my website for $22. And we'll be back with more Sacred Union Energy updates on my official channel, more sacred channelings here, and the light language transmission coming up. Send you guys so much love, so much light, and we'll see you soon. Bye.